Welcome all. For anyone who's followed me for a little while, you'll realise that I've had a few issues with events and so on where I want to move around with the camera and try to get reasonably stable footage. I purchased a gimbal that would carry this rather heavy rig for that particular purpose, but I could never really get it to work ideally when I was moving. What was happening was that you're getting this noticeable bobbing up and down every time I moved about, and I couldn't eliminate that. So I went out and bought a Galaxy vest, one of those spring arm devices, and for the life of me I just simply cannot get it to work properly. I don't know what it is, whether it's the setup I've got or what, but it frustrates the hell out of me, and I haven't really been able to get a satisfactory result out of it no matter what I do. So I've sort of not used it at all because of that reason. Thankfully, in a way, with COVID, there's been nothing happening, so I haven't had to go out and use any of that gear at the moment. But in this hiatus, I've been sort of investigating different ways of getting better stabilisation when hand-holding, moving about and so on. One of the reasons why I put the handle on the side of this camera was to give me better stability and holding ability and some movement as well, because it just provided much better stabilisation, sort of just without any OIS or IBIS or anything like that, and it works reasonably well. But one of the problems with this was I could carry this around all day long without any real drama, but if I wanted to change batteries or do anything else to free my hands, I'd have to sort of put this on the ground, and often where I've been shooting, that's not really ideal. So I sort of was on Amazon recently, and I noticed that SmallRig sell a camera strap, a bit like the Peak Design one, but far more robust. The ropes on it, or the little clips, apparently can hold up to 70 kilogram each, or by the pair, I'm not sure which. So I thought I'll try it, and I'll buy this just so that at least I've got something to hold the camera while I'm out and about, and I can free my hands up if I need to just do something else and adjust microphones or batteries and whatever. And all I've done is the unit itself comes with two sets of clips that go in much like the Peak Design ones, and I'll talk about the other accessory that comes with it as well. But what I've done is I've attached these two little clips to a NATO rail thing with an eye bolt, and that just goes onto the camera and holds up like that. Now the unit itself, I'll try to get it on. It's a bit of a bugger to get on, but once it's on, it's pretty cool. So it basically goes on like that. Yep, you can see it, and I can sort of move about and I can just release it and the camera goes nowhere, and it's really handy to actually have something like that available for you, and it feels quite comfortable. It's a well padded thing, you can adjust the strap and everything else. But what I thought I'd try was to see how I could go by walking with it and see whether it improved the stability at all. And so I went to a very rough area not far from home, and that had suffered from the storms that came through in June, and huge washaways and so on occurred there. And what I did was I just took the camera and walked up one of these washaways in my gumboots, so I had nothing fancy or anything else like that, and the ground was very uneven, sandy, soft sort of soil, and I just took some video to see what it looked like, and I was quite surprised, very surprised indeed. And I'll play that now, and you'll see what it looks like, and then I'll just talk a little bit more about my other bits and pieces. Okay, as you can see, it's not too bad actually, given the conditions that I was walking in, and I did apply some stabilisation perspective in DaVinci Resolve to smooth it out a little bit, and I think it's actually quite acceptable given the sort of nature of the terrain and all the rest. And so I'm quite happy with that, because I think with some of the events that hopefully will start again sometime later this year or early next year, this sort of situation might actually work quite well for me, and stabilise shots a lot more than what it would be with just hand holding the thing itself. which I haven't really tried because there's been nothing going on. So it's just been testing, and I really don't like sort of just doing nonsensical stuff just to sort of prove a point. So I'd like to actually put it to use. So that may have to go a little bit later on. But just from that demonstration, I think it works quite well. Now the other thing with this is, and I'll take this off like this because it's a little bit easier. The clips undo fairly easily, and then they sort of just basically becomes just like a Peak Design strap. Now the other accessory that comes with the strap itself are two sort of, I don't know if you can quite see them, but they're two little clamps or attachment points that screw into a 1/4 thread, and I'll put one on either side of the handle of my gimbal. And I'm not going to show and put this on with the camera and all the rest. You've seen me attach the camera, so you've got an idea of how it works. But what happens is you just clip that on exactly the same way as the camera, put that over your shoulder, and I did a test again in exactly the same place with this the camera on here, and attached the same way, walk the same sort of things, and I'll play that shortly. And what I found with that was the ability to hold this gimbal and camera improved dramatically, because the combination is over 8 kilos, and you know, 20 to 30 minutes hand holding at the most with the combination really starts to strain you. Whereas with the strap over your shoulder and clamped to the handle, it was quite comfortable. In fact, I was far more comfortable than when I was using the spring powered rig that I've got, so the Galaxy Vest. And when I was walking with it, even in the monitor, it appeared to be not too bad as far as stability goes. So I'll play a clip. It's a little bit longer because I did 2 sections of it to show how difficult the terrain was. And the first one will compare it to the first shot with the camera alone, and then I've got the second part of the video showing a slightly different aspect of where I walked down to get to that particular spot. So I'll play that now, and then I'll talk a little bit more about that after that. Okay, first off, I also did stabilisation in Resolve with this using the perspective selection, and I don't think it's all that bad. There's certainly still some of that bobbing, but it's not sort of the really annoying bobbing I was getting in my early examples using the rig handheld. And again, the same situation, gumboots, you can see the nature of the terrain. It's pretty awful. Be hard to walk on that and keep things stable regardless of what you've got. And I'm quite impressed. And the fact was that I walked quite a lot doing those shots, and the gimbal and the camera combination didn't start to become overwhelming at all. In fact, it was quite easy to hold it and even let go of it because it just wasn't going anywhere. And so I found this strap to be an excellent solution. To be honest, it's a better solution than the Galaxy Vest. I would not even recommend the Galaxy Vest now after having so much difficulty with it. Whereas a $40, $50 strap seems to work just as well, more versatile, less intrusive, and less hassle to actually attach and do all sorts of things with it. So if you're looking for something that will aid in stabilising handheld camera situations as well as gimbal ones, give the strap a go. It's actually quite surprising how well it works, and how simple it is to use for that matter. And because it comes with those 2 clips, you can put it onto 2 different sets of gear, and you can buy extra clips and so forth if you need. And to me, this is almost a perfect solution. Not absolutely perfect, but it changes the whole dynamics of moving about with a camera on its own or on a gimbal, and the ability to do that for long periods of time. I'm not sure how long I'll be able to sort of struggle with the gimbal camera combination with the strap. Obviously, there's going to be a bit of a strain on your body, but initial impressions are that I can go far, far longer than with the Galaxy Vest. And in fact, I think the last time I used the Galaxy Vest, it was starting to sort of be a bit of a pain in my back and shoulders. Even though it's supposed to be one that takes all that load off, it doesn't work as well as advertised. I think the Galaxy Vest may work fine on hard floors when you're using sort of soft shoes and things like that for a limited period of time, and you might get rid of that bobbing and everything else. But as far as the difference between that and just a simple strap, I think it's chalk and cheese. I'd go the strap any day. So on that note, I'll say cheers.